Hello and welcome. Today we've got Lewis Herms, and today we are going to be discussing the DC scandal. Now, just
Mhm.
before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview. Unless, of course, myself and Lewis can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Lewis, thank you for joining me, sir. How are you and what have you been up to?
Well, number one, I'm amazing. Love to see you, brother. I know we're on every couple weeks. Things are going great. There's a lot going on. I'll be talking about a kind of a truth tour that we're doing, which is amazing. I've been researching something that's an absolute scandal going on in DC, but things are going fantastic. I mean, we got 2,000 Mules out, Roe versus Wade, and I got a little take on both of those also. But wow, it's a lot happening.
There's a lot happening. So why don't you give us your perspective while I sit back and, you can teach us what you've been learning and the viewers, and then we can go ahead with some questions and answers.
Okay, sure enough. Um, I don't know if you know yet, but there's a lot of censorship in regards to that movie. So let's call it 2000 Burrows, or, somebody else is calling it 2000 Donkeys. There's a lot going on throughout YouTube, of course. In my opinion, this is a movie for the normies. And I know when the movie came out, it's a fantastic movie. There's a lot of people that I won't say in the know, but let's say truthers or so on and so forth. And immediately they're like, well, we really didn't learn anything. We kind of knew this was happening. It's just at a bigger level, yada, yada, yada. I really think they're not getting the point. The point of this movie is not to wake up people within sight of our patriot echo chamber. That's not the point of the movie, right? The point of the movie is to lay out an evidentiary path that can be taken for prosecution and to wake up the normies. And when I say the normies, I'm actually absolutely including Trump supporters in that and Republicans that really don't know what's going on. Those are absolute normies. So how do we do this? Well, first is in order to get maximum exposure, and I kind of teach this stuff through red pill training, but in order to get maximum exposure, you're not going to take a film like this and let's say it's like introducing, you're not going to say to a communist, go check out Alex Jones, right? That's not going to work. It's not going to work. So the way you do this is through an acclimation process. So a truther or somebody in the know would introduce this movie to a Republican that probably doesn't know. And by normal progressive assimilation, that Republican will end up introducing it to an independent, and an independent will reduce it to somebody that's an open person on the left. It will never, a far left Marxist is never gonna watch this. That's fine. So let's just count them out. But how do you get that movie to a person on the left that may be open to learning somebody? Well, me, a truther that's on the right, I'm not going to be able to open the eyes, if I'm intellectually honest, of somebody on the left. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be open to that. But I definitely can talk to a Republican and say, hey, I know you may not believe there was election fraud, or you didn't think it was such a big deal. Maybe you should check this 2000 Donkeys out, right? And they'll be open to it. And then recommend it to somebody you know, and recommend it to somebody you know. So this will work. This will get down to that person on the left if it goes through that type of process. If dad, who is a major conservative truther, introduces it to daughter who's way on the left, daughter's probably not going to watch it. But if she hears it from somebody else that maybe just be one step ahead of her, she'll pay attention. So these are the type of things that we need to know inside the truth movement. And it doesn't just apply to this movie. It applies to everything that we're trying to explain.
But we've been trying to do this with the fall of the Cabal. So, why is this so special? And how do you think, this is going to be different?
I think it's great. That's a great question. So the fall of the Cabal, to you, me, and another million people, is a fantastic series. It's a great series on exposure. But here's the reality is somebody that's not open to any of this, they are going to mentally turn off the fall of the cabal, right? This is tangible. So the thing about this 2000 Burrow movie is it's very, very tangible for people. It's an election that was very recent. So it's not past history, which, you know, the fall of the cabal talks about a lot of stuff in the past and how we got here today. So people can grab it. It's almost like meat on the bone. So what happens is if this can be introduced in the proper way to somebody, they'll be open to listen, because even the lefties know there was something wrong with the vote. Let's put it this way so I don't get you knocked off of YouTube. Even the lefties understand there was something wrong with the vote. Unequivocally, they know that. So if we can acclimate them to a film like this, I really believe we're going to start to turn things around. I have been people, the beautiful thing about having a platform is people DM me, they email, and they report all the time. I have tons of people that have already said, oh my God, I'm waking people up with this movie. So it can be done. It just needs to be done in a certain way, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So what is it exactly that you would like to share today in respect to the DC scandal?
Well, there's a lot going on. I want to touch on the Roe v. Wade leak really quickly, and then I'll go into that. I believe so you could say the Roe v. Wade Supreme Court leak, which, by the way, really never happens, was either done by a lefty. A lot of people think it was done by somebody on the left, and some people think otherwise. I think it could possibly even be a white hat move, right? And I think it's to kind of take the pulse of what's going on out there. What we're looking at, in my opinion, and this is not just the Roe v. Wade leak, but we're looking at the reformation of our government from the inside out. So to give you an idea, what this will do is this doesn't get rid of abortion, but what it does is it does what it's supposed to do, and it throws it down to the states, where the individual states will make the decision. Why is that huge? Yes, of course, it's huge for the abortion issue, but it's astronomically huge because this is the destruction of what the feds have been doing forever. When we use this as precedence to bring everything back down to the 50 states, now we're getting closer to the Articles in Confederation, which I'm just now learning about. So I'm not going to speak about that, but it's an extraordinary thing. I'm learning from a gentleman named Jack, who's been on my show, and some other people. It's just extraordinary. But the more that we start turning things back to the state, what we're doing is we're showing how we don't need the feds. And that's the way our founding fathers and everything was written on purpose. And this is the way we take back our individual sovereignty. Because when you get the states to get their sovereignty, and then the counties, and then the cities, and then the individuals automatically get their sovereignty. I think there may not even be a need for state nationalism or us to become a state nationalist if things go the way I think they're going. And that's the destruction from the inside out of the cabal-built federal governments unilaterally. I mean, talking worldwide. It's very exciting what I think is going on, and I'm still researching it.
Well, that's very interesting. So do you have any news for us about, any white hats and Elon Musk or anything like that? Because I'm hearing that, the white hats, like, for an example, Elon Musk, when he made a tweet saying that, he's going to try his hardest to stay alive. These kind of people are being taken to Antarctica for witness protection programs to stay safe. What do you think about that?
Well, I've heard that as well. And we have some people trying to track the travel that way. But the thing is, they just turn off I think it's called a beacon. I'm not sure what it's called. They turn off something on their plane. So anytime they do a secret movement, you can't really track them anyway. So it's really, really tough. So we're not getting really inside information. We're getting a report from somebody that gets a report, and, I could water down playing telephone. But I believe there is massive white hat operations going on right now. In fact, as you know, for years and years, I've called us, we the people, the white hats, because we are. but there is an upper level of white hats, and it's very, very clear that they're working. So yes, I do believe a lot of these people, a lot of them that even that we think are dead are not dead, and they're under some type of protection program, and their job is to expose everything. I want to talk about a gentleman so this is a great segue, that's actually alive, and I think he's doing this internally, and he's a congressman. And this is a very interesting story that people should pay attention to. His name is Madison Kawthorne. In fact, here's a picture of him right here. This is actually a U.S. representative, okay? Madison Kawthorne. Now, I intentionally showed a picture where you can't tell he's in a wheelchair, because what do they do is it's constantly they identify him as a guy in the, excuse me for my dogs, they identify him as a guy in a wheelchair. That's not who he is. This guy is an absolute patriot disclosure machine. He's only 24 years old, and he's actually a congressman in the state of North Carolina. He is a Republican. He doesn't really identify as a Republican as much as he's almost a truther. Now, why this is interesting is because what's going on. So I took a couple of notes here. So it was, let me see, I think it was March 24th. Yes. So he's being attacked currently right now by Republicans and Democrats alike. He's being hammered. Well, he was actually also supported and promoted by who? President Trump. President Trump loves this guy. So on March 24th, 6 weeks ago, he did an interview that you guys should check out. It's a big platform. It's called Warrior Poet Society, and they're on YouTube. And one thing that he said in there is he says the members of Congress are investing in stocks. He saw it with his own eyes because he was researching it while this was going on. They're investing in stocks that had to do with electric cars, right? Within days of him researching all this, and he saw this trend going on in Congress, he saw it in Senate, and he says, wow, this is incredible. Everybody's investing in everything to do with electrical cars. Guess what? The feds proposed a bill, and I believe they signed it, to purchase 700,000 electric vehicles. So he knew what was happening, this insider trading. By the way, that's highly illegal, insider trading. Martha Stewart and many others have gone to jail for insider trading. He is actually saying, and he's calling out names of Congress people, senators that are doing this exact thing, and he can document it. So he said that the DC swamp is disgusting, right? He says they've been placing their family on boards of companies that push products and push bills or turn a blind eye to some things, like in big pharma and chemical industry, so on and so forth. But this is a congressman. This is why this is huge. This is a congressman that's actually exposing this. This isn't you. This isn't me. This isn't some platform. He's within Congress. So what, of course, happens is he's getting destroyed. Even leader Kevin McCarthy is going at this guy with both barrels, right? So what's interesting is he said there's not just a problem in rhinos. He said, now the bureaucrats are really running everything. We know all this stuff, but he's saying they're absolutely unfireable and they're the ones running the show. Well, here's the kicker. And this is, I think, what also really got the attention of this. He's on film March 24th saying that he has been personally invited by congressmen to orgies, and he's seen them use cocaine in front of him. And he said, ironically, excuse me, the same people using these drugs are the ones pushing a non-drug agenda. So what happens? I decided to do some research on this guy because I know I've been hearing all the bad things about him lately. So I went in and I just did a 1 month research, and I just Googled his name, right? Just Googled his name, nothing about scandal, nothing about anything. The first 5 pages are packed with hit pieces on this guy, which tells me he's over the target. So, I mean, they have him, by the way, Nick, this is just in the last 1 month. This is how quick they get out there. They have things joking about him having sex with a male, They indicating why is he really in a wheelchair, indicating that for some reason it's not legitimate that he's in a wheelchair. Sexual misconduct allegation in college. A video of him groping a male staffer. They've insinuating that he's a Nazi. They say that he's a male chauvinist. More proof that he blew $3,000 of taxpayers' money at a resort. That's the headline, of course. When you read into it, it's not all that bad. College video of him doing a naked dorm room prank. And 2 unnamed sources that Trump says he's disgusting and he's gross, right? Now, all of that came out in just in the last few weeks. Only after he started exposing the DC swamp in this video. This guy is a beacon that we need to pay attention to. But here's what's interesting. He was recently interviewed, and he said, which we knew, but I'm loving to hear a congressman say it. He says, right after he was sworn in as a congressman of the state of North Carolina, he was approached, and they already told him, they said, we have all these videos, all this information on you, everything. So you better stay in line, right? Or we will release this. Guess what? This is normal protocol for every single politician that enters at the federal level. I believe at all the higher state levels. I believe in the lower state levels and at least the counties and probably some cities. This is what politics are today. And this is why we have to destroy the system from the inside out. So I hope that we really give this guy the good exposure that he needs. And his name's Madison Kawthorne, C-A-W, because this guy is an actual truther exposing DC from the inside out. I believe he probably is a target. I mean, he's clearly a target in regards to what we see in the media, but his life may also be in danger. I'm doing an amazing truth tour, and one of the places we're going to go through is North Carolina, and I'm really hoping to get him to speak when we're there. So this is interesting stuff.
Absolutely. Was he the gentleman that Donald Trump asked him to do a speech at one of his rallies?
He did. He spoke at a North Carolina rally, I believe it was.
Okay.
Yeah. This guy's incredible. And of course, they're trying to say now Trump has turned on him. That's not even true. Because every source they say it's an unnamed source, right? Trump hasn't come out and said anything. And at this point, I don't think it matters. This guy is meant to do something. I mean, he's 24 years old and he's just nailing it. He's got big, huge brass balls, and he's the type of guy that we need. But he's even said he's not in this for the long run. His goal is, I believe, is literally to destroy the establishment, which is fantastic.
And we will destroy the establishment. We will continue to strive until we will win, and we will win. In fact, we have won. They're just having, they're losing it. They're panicking.
They are. It's panic in DC, that's for sure. Absolutely.
Well, Lewis Herms, it's been a great honor to have you. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yeah, just real quick. 2 things. I was on YouTube. I got destroyed a few times on there. I have a new channel up there now. So after 1 million views, they took me down, but now I have a new channel. So if you guys could go over there, click over, subscribe, that'd be awesome. But real quick, we have something that we just put together called the Truth Tour. This is the first time it's really being announced. Myself and other truthers and great people names are going to be traveling to 22 cities in 31 days. And this is going from, I believe it's June 24th to like July 25th. It's fantastic. So there'll be a link below that you can check it out. But guess what? This is the best part. You can get in and watch it for $1. $1. Now, obviously, we'd like you to buy a higher level ticket or donations or something, because it's going to cost us well over $60,000 to do this. But I don't think anybody should not be able to meet these great patriots and not get the truth I want them to get it for free. The only reason why I'm charging $1 is so we can track people, so we're not getting a bunch of knuckleheads coming in and doing crazy stuff. So $1, and you can see all these people. And we're also going to have an online event also. So we're very excited about that. You'd go to freedominaction.net/tour. We're not selling anything yet, but you can see the map and see the cities that we're going to. And this is going to be exciting stuff. And I'm still going to be pushing you to get out there and see us.
Absolutely. Well, Lewis, if you send me all your links, I'll gladly put them below in the description so that the viewers can have a look. Again, thank you so much for everything you're doing, and we'll speak again very soon. God bless you, and bye-bye.
God bless you. Thank you.